Calgary's business, a time when we ask 5 key questions to community and business leaders in Calgary. I'm your host, Mario Tonaguzzi, and joining me today is Krystal Laferriere, who is a health and wellness expert and co-founder of Kanabe Goods. Thanks for joining us today, Krystal.
Thanks for having me, Mario.
Tell me a little bit about what Kanabe is and does.
So Kanabe Goods Co. is a cannabis health and wellness company, and it's basically everyday products where cannabis is infused into it. So it's things like topicals, which would be applied to your skin, like lotions and salves, and also microdosed capsules and oils, which you would take orally.
Can you tell us a little bit about your personal health journey and your use of cannabis?
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and I was really struggling with my health with traditional medicines and just these side effects from that, and even just symptoms from, nagging kind of things that had happened even after my clinical remission. And at that time, you're prescribed some pretty crazy narcotics for pain management, and I just wanted something natural, and I discovered medical cannabis. I didn't like to smoke, so I used my prescription to just essentially experiment and make things on my own, and I started trying different topical creams and things like that, and oils and stuff, and I found it really helped me, manage my pain and help with sleeping and even help managing the anxiety that I had just from having a chronic illness. So that's kind of how I started using all of that stuff.
So why did you start the company?
So really, at the time I was just making things just for myself, but I always kind of felt that it could help other people. But, people just like me with chronic illness and just everyday people, honestly. And, everybody has had a sore back or trouble sleeping at least once in their life. So it kind of went from DIY to a business when my mother-in-law came over at one time. She had a sore elbow, and my husband and I had just made a batch of cream, and she just slathered it on, like no hesitation, no questions asked. And this is a lady that had never used cannabis in her life, and that was when the aha moment came that this is something that could be used with a really wide market and really help people. And the opportunity happened when cannabis legalization was announced, and so my husband and I just started building up the business and took a leap of faith.
Cool. You kind of mentioned a wide market, so who would be your target audience, do you think, or target market?
Yeah, so our target audience would be, the new and emerging user. So the person who's not typically a cannabis user or hasn't used it before. Because the products are therapeutic in nature, it'd be, a lot of, I would say 35 plus, people who have aches and pains, trouble sleeping, or, even for muscle recovery after a workout, those types of things. And it's usually people who aren't comfortable with, the traditional methods of using cannabis and smoking and don't want to feel high. So, the great thing about topicals, for example, is that even if it has THC as a component, which is the psychoactive chemical in the plant, when you apply it locally to your skin, you typically wouldn't get high from it. So it's a great way to use it for the pain relieving properties without having to feel that discomfort. And the other products like capsules and oils, because they're microdosed, that's small doses where there's no perceptible effects, but you still get a therapeutic benefit from it. So they're really targeted towards people who want to use it for a purpose and don't want to get stoned, essentially.
I might have to use it for my arthritis in my knee.
It's perfect for that.
What are your plans for the company?
So last year, we sold the company to a local Calgary company that did medical applications for cannabis. And then this year, that company merged with a Health Canada licensed producer called Experion Wellness. And so we're just stayed on with Experion and are helping launch Kanabe and also working on all of their other therapeutic and recreational products. So there's a lot of really exciting things going on at Experion right now. We're doing a site expansion to increase our canopy. We're accessing global markets, unlocking sales channels across Canada. So we have a recreational flower brand called Citizen Stash that's available right now in BC and Saskatchewan. And Kanabe capsules will be coming later this year. And then also this fall, the regulations are allowing for topicals to be introduced. So those products should be hitting the shelf in 2020.
Great. Thanks a lot, Krystal, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Mario.
That was 5 Questions with Calgary's Business. I'm your host, Mario Toneguzzi. Thanks for joining us today.